Welcome to the Christmas Eve version of the garden show. And the picture my husband chose for the background was a bit of a surprise. That is from Ocean Grove Christmas a couple of years ago. And I do want to point out that the Christmas tree on the left side of the screen, that is my Victorian feather tree. And please, I don't want my Christmas tree grower friends to get mad at me. There is an enormous live Christmas tree on the front porch. But since we were on the Christmas tour, which was at the beginning of December, I didn't want to have a live tree in the house that long. So we made this Victorian feather tree, the history of which goes back to Germany when they used to cut off the tops of trees in order to bring in a small tree for Christmas. And the government started to get really mad and they forbid them to do that. And so as a result, people started to make feather trees. Now, that particular tree that I made is a little bit different because I used the previous year's Christmas tree and trimmed all the branches down. And I think I glued about 3,000 green feathers on it. And it's still fine. It's in the basement in Ocean Grove. We haven't done a Christmas there in a couple of years, but it has held up for quite a few years and is doing very well. Also, I have here my special guest. This is Alfie. And it appears, in spite of my wishes and even my expectations, that he is going to have up ears. Look at that profile. Is that unbelievable? Right? Okay. So his ears are going up, and he is the sweetest little thing. Yep. And he's about the same size as Kusa now, but he's doing really well. He's pretty much 99% housebroken, and he's just a happy little boy. And he's, look at that face. How can we resist? Okay. So he'll run around for a little bit. You'll probably hear him in the background because sometimes he's a little bit noisy. But everything is going well with him at the moment. So I should remind everybody to please hit like and subscribe. We are up to 123 subscribers. Yay! So that's good. And last week, Facebook, for some reason, was not working, but Facebook fixed it, whatever was wrong. So you can view us on Facebook, but you can like and subscribe there as well. And the phone number here is 888 399 PEGI. That's 7344. And we have, we'll be here till 11 or more. I hope you're ready for Christmas. I don't know how many bows did I make. How many bows did I make, Tommy? A lot of bows. I don't know. Many, many, many bows. And today on the agenda is one pecan pie, and my son requested a cherry cheesecake. So that's what I'm making today. And tomorrow the kids are coming, so that should be fun. Now, if you remember, last week we introduced Fred the Christmas tree. Well, Fred the tree, actually, but at Christmas time he is decorated, and he is in Florida, and he is on the 7 Mile Bridge, and this is him. But we discovered since then that there is a Christmas carol dedicated to Fred the tree. And this is him decorated for the holiday, and he's quite lovely, and he can be seen from long distances. And for those of you who might be interested in the words, these are the words. So you can come back to this when if you want to know the words, you can come back to this and pause it, and then you can read the words. But we have a singing group singing this Christmas song dedicated to Fred the tree, and it's very long, so we're only going to give you like a really brief glimpse of the Christmas song Fred the Tree. And Fred the Groovy Christmas Tree, performed by the Switlick Singers. Okay, take it away, Switlick.
It's gonna be a merry, easy Christmas. You gotta meet the star of the sea. Lights they're glowing, sparkling, glowing, and spread the groovy Christmas tree. Hanging around the 7 Mile old bridge, spreading some peace and holiday cheer. Awesome as ever, friendly forever. Let's spread the groovy Christmas tree. the guy, strong and so bright and sure to delight. Fred hangs out in paradise. It's gonna be a Merry Casey Christmas. You gotta meet the star of the sea. Lights there glowing, sparkling and glowing. That's Fred the groovy Christmas tree. Hanging around the 7-mile old bridge, spreading some peace and holiday cheer. Awesome as ever, friendly forever. That's Fred the groovy Christmas tree.
Okay, thank you, singers. I think that goes on for several more stanzas. I think we got the flavor of it, and I think it's very cute. And Fred is, hopefully, he will be there for a lot longer. That's Fred the groovy Christmas tree, the Australian pine that lives on the bridge, and he has a little sidekick known as Fred Jr. or sometimes Wilma and sometimes Randy. And it is the Fred Christmas elves that have named them. So whatever. It's all very good. It's all very happy. And it was a pleasure to get to know Fred the Christmas tree. So let's see. But speaking of Christmas, we're waiting for Chris to call so that we can talk about Chris's mushrooms. So I'm hoping he will give us a call and we can talk about that down the road, just a piece. But again, the number here, 888-399-7344. That's 888-399 Pegi, Pegi, or 7344. Would love to hear from you. I know everybody's probably crazy busy getting ready for Christmas, but still might be fun to have a little chat, say Merry Christmas. I want to wish Merry Christmas to all my listeners, all my fans, all my extended gardening friends. So for now, though, I think we should examine, well, let's do this week at Tiny Farm. And I think we have a video in there in the middle someplace. Now, this is a picture of a Baptisia, the yellow Baptisia, and I have yellow Baptisias and pink Baptisias and kind of a burgundy Baptisia. And this is the yellow one, of course, in bloom. Next. And this is me with them a couple of days ago. It's really kind of interesting. They get kind of enormous, but they just, something happens at some point, and I'm not sure exactly when it is, but you get like one kind of rainstorm and they all just snap off. You don't have to cut them. You don't have to break them. They just snap off in huge piles. And so they were blowing around a little bit in the driveway. So I went out and we gathered them up. That is all from the pink one. You're looking at me holding them all just from the pink one. We've decided that come spring, we're going to have to divide that because it's really getting a little bit too big for the spot. And this is the seed pods, and a lot of the seeds have been dropped all over the place. Because I have different kinds and because DNA does what DNA does, I can't guarantee that if you were to try to save the pods that you would actually get something similar to the parent plant. You might get a different color, you might get the same color, you might get a new color. I don't know, but this is the pods, and you can definitely save the pods and start them from seed. And they are perennial. They come back for many, many, many years, and they're really lovely when they're in bloom. All right, this is a little comparison thing here. We're trying to, of course, hide the big ugly building. You can see just the corner of the big ugly building in the picture on the left, that thing there that's kind of just in the corner. But what I'm showing you here is these are Alaskan cedars, and the Alaskan cedar on the left is a weeping Alaskan cedar and stays very narrow, whereas the Alaskan cedar on the right, and we have both of these here at Tiny Farm, is just a regular one. It's not a weeping one. It's not a columnar one. It's not anything. It's just a regular one. And it's, you can see it's about twice as wide. So the weeping Alaskan cedar is a good choice for narrow spaces. And the one on the right has some yellowing on it, but it's perfectly healthy. That's just the way it's been growing, but it looks good. It's been growing. It's been putting on some size, but you can see for a tight spot, which is what we have back there where we're trying to hide the big ugly building. It's the property tapers slightly, but in addition, that's big ugly building is opposite where the barn is. So the space between the barn and the fence is relatively small, relatively narrow. So I've been trying to put in a lot of things that are going to get tall but stay skinny, so we call that area the Grove. So, oh, is this unbelievable? This was taken this week. This is the pink camellia that's in the front of the house, and it's still going strong. It's still just making flowers. This was, I'm not showing you old pictures I took weeks ago. This is a current picture taken this week, and it's still being most outrageous. Now, I have a couple of other camellias that have a lot of buds on them, but I haven't seen any color yet. But this one is still being show-stopping, so kind of hard not to find a little bit of magic in looking at this camellia. All right, this is the begonia that I have in the greenhouse. It's not really an angel wing. It's sort of a regular leaf type, but it's one of the ones that lives on the front porch all summer. I have 2 of those, and I bought them from Mel at Madden's Family Farm a couple of years ago, and I overwintered them and then put them back out. But it's and I cut them back hard when I bring them in, because by the end of the summer they've gotten quite leggy. So I cut them back hard, and this one is regenerating. I'll probably cut it back once more before it's time to go back out in the spring. But it is gracing us with an enormous number of very cheerful flowers right now, which I of course appreciate. But there's more to that story. These are some of the cuttings, and we'll show the video now. They root in water quite easily and propagate, pretty easily as well. So I'm going to show you what we did in the video. Here we go. These are, you can see that there's a lot of roots on the cuttings. We just used a small pot. That's Jordan doing the work. I'm doing the filming. And we're using my little magical tool that I love, which is, okay, you guys are going to laugh at me. It actually came with, what do we call that? The xylophone. Yeah, we have a xylophone for the chickens. And since the chickens don't really have hands, they couldn't use the little devices to bang on. They peck on to make all the notes, the metallic notes. But this little thing is so handy because I can poke holes with it to stick for seeds or to stick cuttings in, and then the round part pats down the soil nicely. And one of the things I really want to show you, see where Jordan's hand is? Her finger is on the top of the cutting. That's because we were able to use not only end cuttings like the one she's putting in right now, but you could take cuttings from the middle. So if you take one long cutting, you can get several pieces from it that'll root. And when it sends out the new growth, you'll no longer see that cut end. So you can get a lot of cuttings from even just a single branch that you remove. And these look nice and green and healthy. And this will be, I don't know, I might use it in a planter come spring. I might give it away. I think we got 5. Now that last one doesn't have much in the way of roots, but it does have 1 or 2 tiny little roots on it. So we're gonna give it if it doesn't make it, we'll just yank it. Obviously the pot is full enough that we can manage without it. But this is us working on, these are kind of winter things that we can do, and it'll help make the spring a little bit easier. I'll have more plants, less things to buy, more things to give away at the plant exchange. So that's it. It looks pretty good. And that's Jordan just finishing up. We gave it a little drink. And again, we're not going to put this in the sunniest spot of the greenhouse because we want it to, get established in the soil. But it looks good. Okay. Next, back to the slides, please. Back to the slide. Was that we're getting there? Okay. There we go. Okay. This is a very special Christmas tree. This is not obviously not a real Christmas tree. I had to share this with you. This Christmas tree is approximately 45 years old or so, give or take. When I was a little girl, I was the youngest of 8 children, and we used to do all the decorating together. Mostly my sister, my 2 sisters, mostly my sister Judy, and I would help. But she got married when I was only 8. And so from that time on, I was responsible for doing all the Christmas decorating. And then when it came that I went off to college and then moved out, no one did it. And one year I came home to visit, and of course, I even for a few years I came back and helped and did a lot of the decorating, even though I wasn't living there anymore. My mother had purchased this ridiculous little tree, and she was attempting to decorate it. And I found that little angel in among the decorations, and I helped her decorate it, and she'd done most of it. And it was only a couple of years after that my mom passed. I was only 22 when she passed. So this little tree was found in the basement. And when we sold the house, I claimed it. And all year long, it lives in a pillowcase, completely protected. And some of the ornaments do fall off that they need to be put back on. Most of them are the original ones that my mother put on, including the little angel. But this one makes me think of my mother at Christmas. And I added the purple skirt. You've probably figured that out. I added the little purple skirt when I found it. I thought it was perfect for me. But this was my mother's Christmas tree. And so it's in the greenhouse on the table with all the real plants around it. But it makes me smile every time I look at it, and it makes me think of my mom. So Merry Christmas, Mom. All right, this is that ridiculous orange poinsettia that just keeps getting better. This was a picture taken this week. More orange petals, more flower heads forming. It's just the Energizer bunny of poinsettias. It just looks gorgeous. Next. No, is that the last one? Okay, that's it. All right. Do we have anybody calling? Where is Chris from Scotch Plains? We definitely need to hear from him. All right. I'll give the phone number. It's 888-399-7344. That's 888-399-PEGI. Let's see. We do have a caller. Do you think it could be Chris from Scotch Plains? It is? Oh, yay. It's Chris from Scotch Plains. Okay, let's get Chris on the air and let's get those mushroom slides up. Hey, Chris, are you with us? Chris? Chris, are you with us?
I'm with you. Merry Christmas, Peggy.
Merry
was enjoying
Christmas.
your begonia pictures, so that's why I was directly calling.
Okay.
Merry Christmas, though.
They came out pretty good. It looks like it's going to be a nice little plant when it all roots and puts out some new growth, but they were quite healthy. So,
absolutely. I never saw people take multiple cuttings along a single stem. I usually would take them from the ends, but that looks like a very, very good idea. I'll have to keep that in mind.
I thought it was worth a try, and I've done it successfully with philodendrons and pothos also, but I wasn't so sure about the begonias, but I gave it a try and it worked great. So the more the merrier, right?
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
All right. Can we go to Chris's mushroom pictures now? It took us a while, but we did get some pictures from Chris, and this is his bale of straw, and that's what it looks like. It looks like an old bale of straw. You have to look very, very closely. And you said they're blue oyster mushrooms. Is that what you said, Chris?
That's correct. Yeah, blue oyster mushrooms.
And your supplier for the spawn for this?
Well, for these, I got the mushroom spawn from North Spore, but I've also dealt with another company that's equally good. That's Fields and Forest Products. So both sell mushroom spawn. They sell things for growing mushrooms outside, and also kits for growing mushrooms inside as well.
So how many different times have you tried to do this?
This was the first time I ever tried to do it on a bale of straw. I've tried mushrooms on and off in different ways for a number of years. The thing that kind of triggered me with this, I think it was back in August of this year, Bob from Piscataway was calling in about using straw for mulch, and then he was suggesting that he keep the straw outside to sort of like weather and decompose and break down before using it. And I was thinking about doing that, and then it sort of like clicked. As long as I had straw outside in the weather, I might as well do something productive with it. So that's where I got the idea of using the mushroom spawn for growing on the bales.
Tommy, can we have the next picture, please? Okay, so see what I was able to do? I was able to zero in on those mushrooms, get close-ups of them.
There we go. Oh.
Isn't that impressive? On the left, you could barely see them because they blend in with the straw, but on the right, that's a close-up of them. They are pretty impressive, Chris. Look at those shrooms on there.
Yeah, they were very good. It seems like I looked at images of blue oyster mushrooms, and I think it might be weather dependent. These blue oysters look awfully brown or tan to me. They're like really, for lack of a better word, like the color of autumn leaves or straw colored. But I think if it's warmer, you might get more of a blue coloration. But they tasted very good, and they were really pretty abundant.
All right, next picture, please. Okay, so this is another shot where I was able to get a close-up of that one sticking out the side, that you can really see the individual shape of them. And how do you harvest them? Do you just use a sharp knife? Do they pluck?
They come off pretty easily. You could use your hands to take them off. I had a sharp knife to take some of them off. I happen to have what do you call it, a hori. I was taking those off, but they're not anchored into the straw too deeply. So if nothing else, you could just pull them off with your hands and cut back the roots, and you're good to go. The one thing in picking them, they say that I don't know if I'm using the right term by calling them roots. I guess it's mycelium, but if you leave that in there in the straw, it does have a potential for propagating and producing more flushes of mushrooms. So I was trying to be on the careful side and either did as much undisturbed as I could. And the way you have the picture about the mushrooms growing out of the sides, eventually, although they started growing up on the top of the bale, they were coming out on both sides and both ends. So it was interesting. It was pretty productive, though.
Okay, so how did you cook them?
Oh God, I'm good at growing things, and my wife is the cook. Did you ever see the movie Forrest Gump when they were talking about shrimp and shrimp cocktail, shrimp this? My goodness, Peggy, we had what do you call it, oyster mushrooms on top of pizza. We had them on burgers, in omelets, mixed into salads, just sautéed as a side dish, and they were good. They were flavorful. They had a nice flavor without being overpowering, and they were versatile. We actually gave some away to some other people, and they seemed to enjoy it as well. So. Very versatile. We were happy with them.
I envision them, fried with some onions over a steak myself, Chris. I mean,
Oh, okay. Well, we didn't have the steak, but we did have the onions. Yeah, they were good. They were good.
Okay, next, Tommy. No, there's one more. I added the other picture. What happened to it? Did we not update it?
I'm sorry.
Well, Chris also sent us a picture of the oyster mushrooms growing on an ailanthus and a branch of ailanthus. And in that case, they looked very white. So what was the difference? Was it the fact that they were growing on something else?
These are blue oysters, and I used what was called sawdust spawn. Basically, it comes in a plastic bag impregnated with sawdust and mushroom spawn, and you just make holes in the bales of straw, and you can poke them in, and the mushrooms grow from there. The one on the ailanthus log, I use something called plug spawn, so you need to get a drill holes, and they have little birch dowels that are impregnated with the mushroom spawn, and I hammered them in, sealed it with wax, and that's how they grew. So with the straw, you have an easier time of inoculating them. It was a completely different type of oyster mushroom. I know they have the blue oysters, white. I've never grown them, but they also have like a coral pink and a golden. So there's like a whole variety, just the way there's a lot of different types of tomatoes that you can get. There's a variety of different oyster mushrooms that are available as well.
Well, I'm sorry that we didn't get the Atlantis picture up there. I'm not sure how that happened, but I do appreciate you sending it to me. Now, you also sent me a bunch of pictures on composting and things that you've used your compost for, but we will get to that. We'll save that for the new year. How do you like that? All will be next year, Chris.
Sounds like something to look forward to. It's kind of late to do the leaf composting now, but or maybe it's not if people have leaves. And I know I still have a lot of cleanup to do. You know, it's a good way of using them. And yeah, whatever we can do. The outcome, the leaf mold was very good for the soil. It wasn't, once you got everything started, it wasn't too labor intensive. So yeah, well, that sounds like something fun to talk about in the future, though.
Well, we will save that for next week. All right. Now, listen, you have a very, very Merry Christmas. And thank you for sending us these pictures. I know that it was a challenge and you persevered and you got them to me.
Well, once we have the method down, it got much easier. But prior to that, it was a big challenge.
Well, you know, isn't that the way it is with everything? Once you figure it out, it's easy. Until you figure it out, it's a nightmare. It doesn't matter. You could talk about that at any topic in the world. Once you figure it out, it's easy. And until then, you have no idea. It's a nightmare. So, but I appreciate you you sticking with it. So please have your wife, who obviously is in charge of cooking mushrooms, give you a Christmas hug on my behalf. And thank you again. And
I'll do that. Thank you.
And for being so supportive. And we'll see you next year.
Okay. Merry Christmas, Peggy.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling. Bye-bye now. All right, let's see. We have, I forgot to tell people there are ways of commenting and chatting. And we have a comment here from Alice, wishing all a very merry and healthy Christmas. This is true. This is good. Thank you, Alice. And we have a caller. We have Bob from Piscataway. Hey, Bob, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Peggy. How are you?
We haven't heard from you in a while. I was starting to get worried. I'm glad you're calling. How's Nancy?
She's doing well. She's very busy in the kitchen right now. Yeah, we had a few weeks where Maya, our 7-year-old granddaughter, she had a birthday party Sunday at 10 o'clock 3 weeks ago. We had a sleepover the following week so she could make cookies with Nana. And then last week she had the family birthday party. So I haven't even been anywhere near a computer to listen to your show, unfortunately.
Well, but all of that stuff sounds like way more fun anyway. So I didn't have the cookies come out.
Oh, really good. They made chocolate chips, and I had to keep her away from eating all the batter and the chips and everything. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun. She's a sweetheart.
Well, that's delightful, and that's what it's all about. I'm all excited about my kids coming tomorrow, so that'll be fun. And my husband saw this meme. I'm not even sure where that word came from, but we sort of all know what it means. It's sort of a commentary, can be a funny commentary.
Right.
And it said, not a creature was stirring except the mother who was working her butt off trying to make it all happen. And
yes. This is very true.
Is it?
I chop when Nancy needs me to do something, but yeah, she's the boss and she's in complete control of the ship, and she's doing a fantastic job. So it's very exciting. We're hosting Christmas Eve for the first time, and oh man, COVID, we had something here, but in like 50 years. So it's kind of good. A couple of our sons are coming over with their family, so the grandkids will be here, which is really nice. So we're looking forward to it.
Well, that sounds wonderful. We never, growing up, even though we're Italian, my family is 100% descended from Italian ancestry. So we never did the 7 fishes thing because my father was in the food business, and he started out in produce. My father started selling produce when he was 8 years old. At the time that he started selling produce, the industry was mostly run by the Jewish community. And so he learned to speak fluent Yiddish. And then time went on and he opened up. By the time he was 16, he was on his own and he was selling produce with a horse and wagon. And then he got a storefront. Then he bought the store. And in the 1940s, we're talking a long time ago here, he opened up the butcher shop. Yeah. So Christmas Eve was always the biggest day of the year. So he never got home before midnight on Christmas Eve. And so we never did anything on Christmas Eve. And a lot of time he sold Christmas trees, outside the store, he would sell Christmas trees. He sold everything. So he would often bring the Christmas tree home on Christmas Eve at midnight. And that's when it got decorated. So that's what we did. So we never did the whole seven fishes thing. So our big day was always Christmas Day. And so that's what we continue. I've never made the seven fishes thing. Believe it or not, I've never even experienced the seven fishes thing. But I make a pretty hefty Christmas dinner. Tommy picked up a prime rib yesterday that will even feed my son, who can eat an endless amount of prime rib. So that I'm looking forward to that for tomorrow. I wish I had some of Chris's mushrooms, though. I mean, that would have been pretty nice on that.
Yeah, they look good.
They look really good. All right. Well, you have a wonderful, wonderful holiday and enjoy your family. And you can tell your son that I did get a request for his contact information from when he was a sponsor. Okay. I sent it. I don't know if he's heard from that person, but I sent it out right away. Or I told him.
I'll let him know. Yeah, I'll see him today. One other thing, Peggy, before I forget, in the true spirit of giving, I have some of those popcorn plant seeds if you want some.
As soon as we get a little past the holidays, that would be great, because mine produced nothing. I got like 3 flowers, the whole thing.
We got a lot. Now, I think I saved them correctly. I'm not sure. I waited till the plant pretty much died out completely and all the pods were dried up, and, I put them in a container and they're sitting there. So I don't know what the seed is. If I break those pods open, will there be really small seeds in them?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, then I have the seeds, because I wasn't sure if the really small particles were the seeds. So we'll get together and I'll give them to you after the holidays. And one other thing, if I may, I'm looking at the Baker Creek catalog. Have you ever heard of the toothache plant?
No, that's a new one on me. But if you're trying to find things that are weird and different, the Baker Creek catalog is the place to go.
Yeah, well, I mean, supposedly it has a numbing quality when you eat the flowers. It's called the electric daisy. So when you eat the flowers, they used to use it as an herbal medicine and all natural remedy for toothaches and other oral pain. But it also says there are people who, when dried, they make it into a tincture for pain. So I guess on the skin or you take it orally, I don't know. Thinking about getting that and giving it a try, tell you the truth. So,
well, I like to try at least
if you ever heard of it.
1 or 2 totally weird things every year. So that sounds like a good one.
Yeah, they have a lot. They do have a lot of strange things.
They do. It's a great catalog. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, it is. Okay.
It's always
a very happy holiday season and day, and enjoy yourself.
You too. Thanks for calling. Merry Christmas.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, let's see. Oh, we heard from Rob F. again, the mysterious Rob F. wishing Merry Christmas to all. Someday I'm going to figure out who he is. Okay. He should call in. Rob F., call in and tell me who you are so we can chat. You're always so thoughtful about sending little comments. All right, so I should give the phone number again. It's 888-399-7344. That's 888-399-PEGI, P-E-G-I, which is also 7344. So either way, that helps you remember it. Okay, so what else have we got? Oh, let's do the whole Christmas tree thing. That's Jack. Can we back up to Jack? Yeah, that's Jack. That was the day Tommy and I went this year and picked out our Christmas tree at his absolutely magnificent, beautiful Christmas tree farm, which is on Skillman Lane. And this is the kind of Christmas tree I like. It's called a concolor fir or white fir. And the reason I like it is it has a little bit of a bluish tint to it, something like the, and of course some are bluer than others, but like the blue spruce, which is a beautiful Christmas tree, except it's also mean and makes you bleed. So I prefer not to use one of those. And let's go to the next picture. Now this was, we went back last week. Was it last week? It was last week. Last Sunday, as a matter of fact. And we went and Bernie cut the tree down for us. Now, for years now, I have been saying cut the tree at an angle, because just like salami, if you cut it straight on, you get a circle. If you cut it at an angle, you get an oval. And Nancy from Somerset met us and she said, take a picture, you could show everybody. And I thought that was a scathingly brilliant idea. So I did take the picture, and that's the idea. Now you see, we recently decided that having a little bit of a flat surface on the bottom helps to keep it upright. It's easier to stand it when you're trying to put it in the Christmas tree stand. It balances, it gives you something other than a point, but you can see the oval shape of the cut. And the advantage of that means that all the plumbing inside the tree, which of course you can't really see, but it's in there, is now has an oval opening instead of a round opening, and therefore less likely to plug up with bacteria in your house, which means it will have better water uptake longer, and it will be safer and will be less likely to become any kind of a hazard, or even just less likely to drop needles all over the place. So this is the kind of cut that you want. It's a perfect cut. And Bernie did a great job. I just showed him how to do it and angled the saw and showed him, and he did exactly what I wanted, and it was perfect. Now, there they are. There's the little chainsaw. There's my little tree. And that's Jack on the left. And you can see the weird Christmas tree device that they've invented to bundle up the Christmas tree. And that's it, so we put in the back of the truck so it doesn't get as wind blown, and laid down nice and flat in the back of the truck. And we were very, very happy with our tree. And there it is, decorated. I don't know if we don't have all the ornaments on it. Do we have another picture with all the ornaments on it? Now, that's last year's tree. Now, this is me picking out last year's tree. Again, a concolor fir. And that's it last year, looking quite magnificent and very full. That was a near perfect Christmas tree. That was really quite magnificent. Now, I pick out my tree very early. You can see I'm just wearing a sweater and moccasins, and I think I picked it out in the beginning of October. And that's it, of course, for Christmas. And then after Christmas, Jordan and I spray painted it purple and had a grand time, made a bit of a mess, used 8 cans of purple spray paint, and wanted to see how long it would last. Now, the whole idea behind this was really twofold. One is, I know that if you spray dried flowers with any kind of paint, clear paint or a colored paint, that you can get them to last a very long time. But also in the years last year, not this year, the last year, Christmas tree growers lost a lot of trees in the field because there was a bit of a drought and they lost a lot of trees. So I was wondering if you could spray a Christmas tree while it was still in the field with spray paint, if you could then sell it as a painted Christmas tree, even though it had started to yellow. And this was brought on by the fact that there is a Christmas tree grower up in Warren County, I think, that custom spray paints trees any color that you want. And so I thought, okay, well, somebody's already doing it. Can we do it in a way that will save farmers from losing the investment of a tree that's been in the ground for 4, 5, 6 years, and then it starts to die and he loses that investment? So on the left is a picture of it in January, like right after New Year's. And on the right is a picture of it in August. It held up amazingly well. But if you remember, in the fall, we had 23 inches of rain in 1 week, and it did take a bit of a hit. It blew over several times, and as a result, it did not look as great as this. But nonetheless, we put it on the front porch. We decorated it. It's a Charlie Brown Christmas tree. But I do think that the concept of spraying them in the field and then selling them the following December is really viable. I wouldn't do it with spray cans. I would get a sprayer, a paint sprayer, and it would go much faster and be much more economical. But I think that you could do it, and it would be useful for some growers to save a few trees in the field. Okay, so that's it for the Christmas trees. All right, so let's let's give the phone number. Okay, the number here is 888-399-7344. That's 888-399-PEGI, P-E-G-I. That's 7344. Okay, what have we got here? We need some more slides. So should also say this is something that I have really wanted to talk to you guys about. And that is that this year, one of the things that we're doing on Christmas Day, which is tomorrow, is I'm going to take a big shopping bag and I'm going to keep it open, a big paper shopping bag. And as people unwrap their presents, I'm going to try to fold up the wrapping paper. It doesn't have to be, perfect, but rather than crinkling it up in a ball, I'm going to try to fold it and lay it into the bag so that we can save as much of the wrapping paper as possible. And, my sister, she had a wedding shower for her granddaughter. And she told everybody not to wrap the presents because she didn't want all that wrapping paper to go to waste. So I thought that was kind of disappointing. So what I did was I decorated the box. I covered it in beads and I cut out greeting cards and with pictures and glued them to it. So the box is actually reusable as a decorated box. And she was quite pleased with that. But with Christmas, the paper can be reused in a less than pristine state by the Restore in Asbury Park. Now, I'm sure there are other Restores. I know there's one in Freehold. There may be other thrift stores elsewhere, but they take packing material to wrap things. Now, they're a nonprofit kind of a place, and so they have a lot of things to sell, and they try to wrap things up. And I give them the cardboard boxes that I get, and I give them the styrofoam noodles and that white kind of newsprint type paper. I get all of that, and I save it and I give it to them. So if you could save your wrapping paper, you can check with your local thrift stores and see if they would be happy to have that so that they can use it and recycle it as packing material. And that way it gets a second life. And so that's one of the things I'm planning on doing. All right. So let me give the phone number again. It's 888-399-7344. All right. Now, this is a jar of capers. And you may be wondering why I'm showing you a jar of capers. I use capers. The thing that I use them for mostly is when I make caponata, a nice Italian dish with mostly eggplant and tomatoes and capers and celery and onions. And it's a family favorite. Without question, it's a family favorite. But we were talking about capers and exactly what are capers. Do you know what capers are? I mean, you look at them and they're these little smushy things. At first I thought maybe they were seeds, but I decided to investigate. And no, they are not seeds. They are flower buds. That's what they are. The capers that you eat, that you cook with, are flower buds. And in the Mediterranean kind of climate, they can grow wild and can be collected. And this is a caper bush on the left. And they have the most beautiful flowers. You can grow them here, but they're almost shrubby and they don't really produce flowers the first year. And they will not survive our winters. So if you want to try to grow your own capers, you need to grow them and then move them outside and then move them inside to a warmer environment. But I think they might even be worth growing just because the flowers are so spectacular. And that's another picture of the flower, and you can see the buds, all the little buds that would be harvested on the left in the background. And then you can see the capers as we know them, but there's also caper berries. So you can eat the flowers, the flower buds, and then you can also eat the fruits. And they are, I've never had them, but you can buy them. I've seen them in jars, you can buy them. And I don't know what they taste like, but you can eat both parts of the plant. And one of the things that I thought was really interesting was there's very few things that you traditionally eat as the flowers. There's capers, there's broccoli, because what we're actually eating when we eat broccoli are flower buds, and cauliflower is also just the buds of flowers. And then artichokes. Artichokes are flower buds, and capers. And there's really not too many other things. There are things where you can eat the flowers, like you can eat violet flowers, you can eat rose petals, you can eat squash blossoms, of course, but they're not the primary part of the plant that you eat. But in this case, in the case of artichokes, broccoli, cauliflower, and who knew, capers, that you're actually, the thing that you're growing the plant for is the flower buds, which I think is kind of neat. So, oh, and that's what they look like when they open up. That's the little seeds inside. So if you wanted to start one, you could let the pods open up and collect the seeds and start another one. So they're really very interesting plants. And I have seen seed available in different catalogs. You can get the seed if you want to try it. That might be something Bob was saying, how he likes to try something different. That might be fun for him. And these are dried capers. You can get them dried and salted. I've only seen them in jars and sort of a vinegar base, but you can get them like this. And so you can also get the caper berries. So they come in a variety. Now, these are the caper berries prepared much like the flowers are, the flower buds are, but also you can get the caper berries dried the same way. Interesting stuff. I've never seen them. I would be curious to know if anyone else has ever tried them like this, but they are kind of fun, and certainly the plant world never ceases to surprise. Okay, so they are mostly Italian, the wild Italian caper bush, and you can get 20 seeds with instructions as to how to buy them. You can get them from this company, as they're organic, and they're just $4.99, and with $5 delivery. So you can order them, and this is a place that you can get them from if you want to give that a try. But I think they're beautiful. So, all right. Can we have any callers? Let's see. Who do we have? There's somebody calling. Who do we have here?
Yes.
All right. Can I just go to the phones and say hello? Merry Christmas. Who am I talking to? Oh, they're gone. Did we lose them? All right. Well, let me give the phone number again. It's 888-399-7344. That's 888-399-7344.
2 minutes.
Okay, they're going to try again. You think they're going to?
We'll try.
Oh, we'll try again to get them in. Okay. All right. So let's see. What else did having a little check? We have any more slides ready here for me? No more slides. All right. So
Try to call her.
try. Okay. We have the caller back again. Let's go to. Should I hit the talk button? No. Okay. Are you with us, caller?
Yeah, you hit the talk button.
Hit the talk button. Hi. Merry Christmas.
All right, I'll drop them and see if they call back.
Okay, we're gonna drop that person and then have them give us a call back. Okay, I did want to tell everybody that we are up to 123 subscribers, which is good. So we seem to be going up a little bit every week. And we want to remind everybody that the shows are on archive. And so you can go to YouTube and then go to Garden with Peggy. And is this person back? No, I don't know. It says they've been back for 27 seconds. I don't know what's going on. Things just keep we're having technical difficulties. All right. Well, I'm not sure what's going on. Can I have him, please? Okay. So here we are. It's Christmas Eve. I hope you are all going to have a wonderful, happy, healthy, enjoyable Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and that you will be with your family of human types and critter types. And we do, now we're going back to the caller. Okay. Okay. Merry Christmas. Who am I talking to? Nope. Nobody there.
Okay, calling from Milltown. Over
There
and
you
out.
are, Anne Marie. I don't know why we're having so much trouble talking to you, but we seem to be having some problems.
Okay, 3 was the charm.
Okay, so what's up? How are you doing? You ready for Christmas?
I am, which is amazing. I'm making some crazy new, not Rice Krispie treats, but you also add crushed up Oreos. So I'll have to let you know how that works.
That sounds interesting.
But hey, what can happen with a marshmallow, some butter, and a chocolate cookie? My goodness.
All right, and are you
going to say Merry Christmas? I'm glad you've got all these exciting things going on. And to divert back to one orange poinsettia, it gets more magnificent every week. So you are amazing.
It's shocking me for sure, definitely. And you know that camellia that keeps blooming outside is pretty amazing as well. So there are definitely things that Mother Nature has decided to be spectacular about. So I'm all in favor of that. So my question to you is, how many nativity scenes do you have out this year?
I have over 50 on my tree and set up about 170. I know you think I'm kidding.
No, I've seen it. I know that you're not kidding. So
okay, so some of them are nativity scenes on Christmas balls, and some of them are shells, and some are little tiny, no bigger than the tip of your pinky, perhaps. They're just all beautiful, and I love every one of them. So somebody said, "Why do you have so many?" I said, "Because I haven't ever seen one that I didn't love, and I had to have."
And
so there you go.
Do they make you happy?
They do make me happy.
Then I'm all in favor of the 225 that you have, that you make it 226. I think that's a very good thing. And what are you cooking for Christmas dinner?
Pork loin, spätzle, American pierogi. The green bean casserole is a must. The cornbread casserole is a must. Didn't see any white onions, so there's only a few of us that like them, so I didn't worry about them. And I don't know. I'm making nutcracker pie for dessert, and my daughter-in-law is making a birthday cake for baby Jesus, and then we'll have about 6 or 8 trays of cookies, because everybody brings a tray of cookies that they made, and we have more dessert entree than foods on the main table of food. The dessert table is even bigger.
Well, I have I promised my son a cherry cheesecake, and my daughter.
I heard.
My daughter wants her favorite is pecan pie, so that's what I will be doing today.
I do want to say something about flowers, though. I have a Pegi red geranium still on my front porch that blooms 2 little flowers out of 1 stem this week, and I have 2 pink small plants that were from the swap that are on a windowsill, and they each have a small flower on them.
Well, geraniums are really wonderful plants, and they are much more cold tolerant than a lot of other things that people plant as annuals. They can take temperatures below freezing and still be okay. So the fact that you have them on your porch, they can go down to about 27, 28 degrees and still survive and be okay. I don't know what.
Okay, I'm going to try it then. I'll leave it out there. It'll be a science experiment.
There you go. All right, Anne-Marie.
Okay.
Thank you for calling. I'm sorry we had so much trouble getting you through.
Okay.
But I'm glad that you persevered, and you guys have give each other a Christmas hug for me, and I'm sure we'll see you soon after. Well, I hope we see you soon.
Okay. Well, it will definitely be in the very new year.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for calling.
Okay.
Merry Christmas
All
to
right. God
everyone.
bless you all.
And
And,
we'll see.
and all our faithful listeners.
Yes. Merry Christmas to all our faithful listeners. All right. We will talk soon. Thanks for calling. Mary.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye. All right. So I think I'm going to, there's a caller there's another caller. I'm so confused. No callers. All right. Well, then I'm going to wrap things up now. And I'm going to say that I am pretty much ready for Christmas. And I will be baking today. And I am thankful to my husband for putting this show together, and looking forward to my Christmas present with Andy from South River, where we will be developing the whole social networking, making that better, making it more accessible, building up our subscriptions, all in the new year. But today is Christmas Eve, and you have to remember, you have to get to bed early so that Santa can come and put all your presents under the tree. And can we put up our last slide for the day, please? Yes. So here we go. Have a very, very wonderful holiday. I will be here next week, same time, same place. And ho, ho, ho.